90% of the vulnerable are in housing stress. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.heise here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee. We're going to talk about the growing amount of housing stress that vulnerable Australians are currently experiencing. This is from a Salvation Army report and survey of their clientele that was recently published. Now, before we have a look at that, let's just have a look at what the actual definition of the poverty line is here in Australia. Because, well, it's pretty low, everyone. So, what is poverty? The Organisation for Economic Cooperation and Development, OECD, defines the poverty line as half the median household income of the total population. In Australia, this translates to a single adult living on less than $426.30 a week. For a couple with 2 children, it was $895.22 a week. In 2020, research by the Australian Council of Social Services found of the 3 million people living in poverty in Australia, 731,000 are children, and a total of 1.2 million are under the age of 24. So you're seeing a large proportion of youth and children living below the poverty line, or living in poverty. Less than $426 a week, which, well, look at the Centrelink payments, everyone. And I know there'll be calls for people to increase it, but you've got to understand that's meant to be a temporary emergency measure to stop people from being destitute. Don't think it's not income insurance. Don't kid yourself. The government doesn't care that much about you. They just want to keep you earning those taxes. So what's the average wage, guys? We can see here, look, there's quite a discrepancy in earnings here in Australia. You can see here, men in mining are earning the best, everyone. Earning the best. This is weekly, average weekly, not median. If we have a look here, we can see. So let's have a look in the industry. Mining, $2,633. Males are $2,695. The women are $2,295. Oh no, look, Florian, there's a wage gap. No, it's not. It's an earnings gap because of different jobs. Okay? It's that simple. I don't understand why we need a government department to waste all money, resources, prattling on about this stuff when it's an earnings gap. I think, do they honestly not have relationships? Husband, wife, family relationships where you divide and conquer to as a family to work ahead and to realize someone can earn more, someone can make decisions that can affect that. Do people not get that? That's the only thing I can imagine. Or they're just pretending they don't understand why there's an earnings gap because people make choices for political power and gain. I think that's what it has to be. It's just the woke bullshit that's coming through politics and people are using it to make money. Anyway, so we can see here, you're at, in the mining, you're at $2,600 a week. And remember, poverty is under 400 and what, 430? Yeah, under 430 a week, okay? So if we scroll back down here, what do we have? Accommodation and food services, and that's been declining significantly, just the total payroll recently. That's at 1,161. Are they the worst? Here, it looks like it. Looks like it, everyone. And there, men are earning higher than women in all these sectors. And this is just to do with, well, with choices. Where any of women higher than men? There'd have to be, no. Still not yet. Still not yet. Oh, well, don't worry. I'm sure the feminists will get there, guys. Anyway, it doesn't really matter because this is where we have the K-shaped economic difference here in Australia. We're getting a recovery where certain sectors are getting hammered and certain sectors are doing better than others. And, a K-shaped recovery is one in which the performance of different parts of the economy diverges in the arms like the letter K. And this is the example that I like to refer to. This is why you've got some people who, going in the comments, Florian, why are you going on about housing? One person suggested, I look at shares and all these opportunities. It's going great for my friends and everyone. Here's the problem, guys. If you're in a bubble of people that are just flat out busy, you may not realize there's a whole other arm of Australians that are just getting completely hammered. That are just not competing, that are just not doing well, and that's just been exacerbated by these government interventions in the economy. Some people are better off now than they were last year. I'm having trouble getting quotes for the work on my house because people are so busy. Everyone's so busy, flat out. And I'm on the phone going, yeah, bet you never thought this would happen in our first recession in 28 years. And they're going, yeah, it's insane. A few of the older blokes wanted to slow down. So let's have a look at what the Salvation Army are putting out. Now, I don't mind the Salvation Army. We've worked with them. We had a project where it was quite interesting. We at the head office here in Brisbane, they wanted a church and an outreach center, and we adjusted it so the church was more public facing, and all of the staff and officers need to walk past it because it's a church, guys. I know for a lot of people they may not realize it. It's actually a Christian church. Their whole mission is about outreach, and the concerning thing is the government really seems to have meshed in a lot, weaseled in to the salvos, and in some ways that may compromise their fundamental mission, I'd argue. You know, they're beholden to government funding. But anyway, let's have a look at this. Australia, not a lucky country for those below the poverty line. Salvo's research finds 9 in 10 of Australia's most vulnerable in housing stress. I mean, this in some ways it's not surprising. If you're going to the Salvation Army, you're going to be desperate. It's not something you would choose to do. They're dealing with the most vulnerable part of society. So of course they're going to be in housing stress, guys. Research conducted by the Salvation Army highlighted that the most vulnerable in our community are struggling to pay for the necessities like housing, food, and medications, with more people than ever turning to the Salvos for support. The Salvation Army research, as part of the annual Red Shield appeal, was a result of a national survey of its clients who had reached out for assistance from the organization. The research found 93% of those surveyed were experiencing housing stress, paying more than 30% of their household income on housing. And of these, 86% were in extreme housing stress, paying more than 50% of their housing income on housing. 86%, more than 50% of their household income, not their individual income. So the income of the entire household just for housing. This is why we're hearing more and more of issues of homelessness and all of these other problems that are exacerbating. It's why the Tweed is issuing these housing emergencies. But the councils are often the ones that limit the ability for developers to provide cheap housing. You've got politicians and the not in my backyard crowd also stepping in and limiting the ability. You've got to understand, guys, the people who purport to be the good guys often, well, don't realize they're actually the villains with their good intentions. With the extreme pressures of housing costs at an unprecedented high, those in government support are left with $11 a day, and those on the minimum wage only $4 a day after paying for housing. There you go. See, so you're better off. This tells you you're better off on the dole than the minimum wage. You bet, because you get rent assistance and all these other perks. This is why if your support, because remember, the higher wages go, the higher costs of everything drives up. You've got the iron law of wages. So it's kind of a, chasing a tail. So this has meant the salvos have seen a 6-fold increase in people on wages presenting to its service for help. It's absolutely devastating to see the impact of COVID-19 on the Australian community. The past year has shown us that anyone can find themselves in crisis, and this is manifested in the salvos seeing people we have never seen before coming to us for support. The Salvation Army Major Brendan Noddle. The survey found that during lockdown, 87% of respondents found it difficult to meet the basic needs of housing, food, electricity, and health. And post-lockdown, the situation remains the same for an overwhelming 73% of their. Remember, it's their respondents. It's the people that are going to the Salvation Army. You'd think 100% of them should be in that dire need before they even go to the army. That's just what I'm saying. It's not something you would go to. They're people who are never going to have to need this, and they'll donate to these charities. In addition, the past 12 months has seen 45% going without meals. Now, I know the media likes to harp on about going without meals, everyone. It's not the end of the world. Skipping a meal here or there to save money isn't the end of the world. We already eat way too much as a people. Okay? If you're overweight, I'm speaking from personal experience here, What it is, it's your body storing food for the winter. It's an evolutionary response to tough times. All the people who were super skinny all the time and couldn't stock up, one, they wouldn't be able to maintain the body heat as well because they don't have that layer of fat under the skin. And two, when times were tough, they'd starve. So it's an evolutionary response, guys. Think about it that way. And then you got to change what you're eating. Because evolutionarily and historically, we didn't have access to so much sugar, everyone. We should all be eating venison. I need to get a genetic test done to look at my ancestry and see what food I should be eating. That'd be interesting. So 53% were not able to afford medicine or dental treatment if needed. 28% are unable to buy medicines prescribed by their doctor. 30% not able to afford a home internet connection, impacting the ability to work or learn from home. Now I think that's the biggest issue, because the internet is knowledge, internet is freedom, the internet is empowerment. But I mean, you can get a mobile connection for $15 a month. And the problem is also, see how they're needing medicine and dental treatment? This comes down to diet. If you're really poor and you eat cheap, really cheap, you're eating sugary, carb-loaded crap that will require you to need more medication from a doctor and need more dental visits. That's the problem. The cheap food is the real unhealthy stuff. And you can get in this poverty trap. Probably get diabetes, and then you got to pay for that. With housing stress in this country being at such a high, we're seeing more people becoming homeless. Furthermore, in what is a very lucky country. Really? Is it a lucky country? It is shocking to see almost 50% of people skipping meals. No, I don't know about that. And not able to afford medicines. We need to do better. And the Salvos remain committed to standing alongside Australians now and into the past, says Major Brendan Noddle. The research also showed 59% of respondents reporting poor mental health during lockdown, with 40% raising concerns about their mental health post-lockdown. This is significantly up from the 23% reporting poor mental health before the lockdown. The reality is we cannot do what we do without the generous support of the Australian public. To help us leave no one in need, please consider donating to the Red Shield Appeal. Now in its 56th year, the Red Shield Appeal is the Salvo's flagship fundraising appeal, which aims to raise $32 million to fund more than 2,000 centres across Australia. They provide, let's have a look, more than 1 million occasions of need, support 40,000 experiencing homelessness, distribute 1.5 million meals, give 43,000 occasions of need to those experiencing family and domestic violence, distribute 100 million worth of financial assistance to people doing it tough. Community need has been exacerbated by COVID-19. We're committed to being here for Australian communities for the long run. Your financial support is needed now more than ever. Please donate to the Red Shield Appeal. So there you have it, everyone. What are the solutions to this? Well, there's a variety of things. It's going to be tough. We will always have an element of poverty in every society, guys. That just goes without saying. I would go back to the good old increased financial literacy so people have the capacity to hopefully not fall into a trap, guys. That's what we'll have to see. What do you reckon? Anyway, thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on this one in the comments down below. If you're a fan of the channel and enjoy the content I create here, there are a few ways you can support us. You can join us on YouTube or Patreon. You can support us using our affiliate links at Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or AussieBroadband. You can buy merch from HeiseSays, use Gold Pass from the Perth Mint, or support us via PayPal. Take care, everyone. Have a great day. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.